Friday, February 16th. We maybe are or maybe not in some sort of inflation panic. Interest rates have risen a lot. You know, the mortgage rates have risen from the mid threes to the high fours, but over 18 months. And the question on many lips and minds is how much further and how fast. And simply to ask that question often means that it's over. But in the copy that is near this video, I ran through memory banks in the 1970s. I mean, I was there, and I was in businesses that were strongly susceptible to the inflation that took place then. Going through a list of what are inflation risks, what's the inflation mechanism, what makes it start, why is it hard to stop, all that stuff. So that list is nearby, and I'm not going to read it all to you. What you need to know is that I can't find a single force of inflation truly in play today that corresponds in any way to the substantial inflations of the past. Part of the reason for that is the action of central banks, but we've gotten good at suppressing inflation. But more important is the shape of economies. So my hunch is that we're not in a panic. Markets periodically panic for no reason. I mean, a rabbit runs across the road and eek. But the strong likelihood is that the Fed is still nothing more than engaged in a slow process of taking the overnight cost of money from an emergency low, near zero, for the first time in its history, up to something in the neighborhood of 3%. It's presently 1.5%. It's halfway there. The first half of its movement got no reaction in the marketplace at all, and there's good reason to believe that the spurt in interest rates that we've just gone through is in anticipation of what's ahead, not so much catching up to what's taken place. If the inflation data changes and becomes more dangerous, then we are more vulnerable, but that's not what's there. And if the Fed completes that move to 3, what does that mean for mortgage rates? A little giggling is okay in the audience, because nobody knows. There are times when mortgage rates are significantly higher than the Fed. There are times when it's lower. There's a pretty good chance that rates rise from here, but and we're going to hear the word 5 before 2018 is over, likely. But if we don't have an inflation problem, the Fed has no reason to create a recession. And we may be closer to a top than it feels or than we think. One important element in that is, historically, one of the Fed's inflation problems and overheating problems is the housing market. But today's national housing market is hot really only in urban areas. The rest of the country, there's nothing going on. The Fed has no reason to pull the stool out from under us. So enjoy the long weekend. The markets are closed on Monday. The stock market's going to do whatever the hell it's going to do. But the interest rate front, I wouldn't worry about it for now. Have a good weekend.